Got me looking for a place. There's no more being friends. I get you on your face. I don't care who you tell. You did it to yourself. To yourself. Said I was the only one. Try to play me like a star. Tell me what you want. It's so crazy that you make me think. Oh no, oh no, oh no, so crazy that you make me. Don't call me crazy. That's what you make me. Don't call me crazy. That's what you make me. Oh no, oh no, oh no, so crazy. That's what you make me. Don't call me crazy. That's what you make me. I feel alive. If all I need is time to find the right words, I'm prepared to keep going to breathe. I feel so high for you. All the shades are falling. My paper still tight. I feel alive. And all I need is time to find the right words. I'm prepared to going to breathe. It's so hard for me. The shades are falling. My paper still tight.
Welcome, guys. Just wanted to take some time to give you guys a shout out for being on the call today, guys. I won't take too much of you guys' time. These calls are going to be more geared towards the students that are coming in that are understanding the education for the first time, or they have more questions than most people. I'm going to make these trading calls like a little bit simpler and a little shorter. So what I'm going to do is go over trend line, support, resistance, and I'm going to go over the pair that I'm looking at right now. I'm currently looking at NZD/USD going up on my trading, or on my MetaTrader, I should say. So that's what I'm looking at right now. That's what you guys saw. That right there was a screen that I had. I don't know if you guys saw that, but I'm going to share it now. I had the whiteboard shared. But this is what it's going to look like right now. Don't have to understand this very well right now. What I want you guys just to take the picture of is the general picture of what it looks like when it's going to go up for a buy. This is on the 5-minute chart. So a lot of people are going to have questions on the time frame. So one thing I would like for you guys to write down is the time frames, how to make yourself have a smoother journey, I guess, on the journey when you're going down through the time frames, because a lot of people just mark up one certain time frame. We need all time frames come together to make an analysis. We don't want to just be doing 5-minute, 1 hour, 4 hour, daily. We want to make sure we're trapping these time frames. That way, when you're watching it by the minute, you're deciding by the minute. Like I know that one of the students is on this call, Zaya. I appreciate you for being on this call. I know you were telling me that you wanted to get a little bit better about making decisions, when you're in that moment. That's amazing. That's amazing. I love hearing things like that, because a lot of the times we don't know how to take decisions because we just haven't been in that position. That's what I really think it is, because when it comes to trading, I know that I had the hardest time just understanding what it was. Like, I didn't even want to get on a live call unless I knew what I was doing. That was me. A lot of people, like, they want to just get on and show as much as they can. I was trying to do that too, but I was all over the place. I didn't really know where, I was actually, going with my information. Now I know where to trap it and understand, like, okay, this trade went south because of this. Like, now if I want to pull out with $114 profit on each order, then I can do that, because I'm watching that right now on the 5-minute chart and it's above my entry. Now I know my entry's at 0.61355. That's where my entry is. So now I can close out if I would like to, but I see my trade doing exactly what it's been doing the entire time. And I also see my double bottoms right here. So I'm going to talk a little bit about, like I said, trend line, support, and resistance. I just wanted to give you guys an in-depth analysis on if you're in a pair. This is going to be a great call to be on. That way you can ask questions, because a lot of this stuff that I'm going to share with you guys is progressive, and it's more on what you guys are going to do at home with it. Myself, I'm going to go ahead and break it down for you guys, I should say, and help you guys understand step by step, like the quarter marks, the half marks, the 3/4 marks, the price bars, as well as the psychological levels. So that's what I want to prepare you guys for. This call is not going to be as advanced. This is more on how to access your tools. So that's why I'm going to take you guys to the pair that I will be marking up so that you guys can understand that. And then I will leave like 10 minutes or 5 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, so you guys can ask questions if you guys have them. And if you guys have questions too along the way, just please let me know on the little chat box. That way I can just go ahead and answer your questions as I'm going through the pairs that I'm going to be marking up. And I'm going to be marking up, I was thinking about AUD or USD Chief, because I haven't marked it up, and it's just a clean chart. And since it's going to be something that we're both going to be coming up together, I think that would be a good pair for all of us to mark up, since it's a more slow. It's like a slower, faster pair, I guess, if you want to say that. And then I'm going to help you guys understand where to start. First off, obviously you want to start everything on the day chart. That way you guys can make a better assessment. A lot of people, have asked me why I use the day chart. It just has more accuracy. That's literally how I found this trade. That's why it's all marked up the way it is. And that's why I've been sending it to the group the way I have, simply because of everything that's been happening, how things have been happening, how people need like a truth out there, and how people actually want to, feel included in these calls, because these calls are going to be this way every time, because these calls are live, guys. These aren't like recorded, like in a sense of I'm pre-recording the call to put a chart to help you understand something. No, like my trades are mostly running all the time. So if my trade all of a sudden goes down and I don't know what's going on, like I'm going to have that face. I'm gonna be like, well, I don't know what the pair is. I don't know what's happening with the pair. And that's when we're going to, analyze it together. Not that I've had that happen to me, because earlier I was talking to one of my friends, CJ, and we're putting in this entry together, and he was like, oh my God, your pair's going up, bro. Both cryptocurrencies and NZD/USD were both going up. And I was like, oh yeah, no, I know. We're talking about God. We're getting into, our conversation. But I realized how easy it is to trade now. And I realized it's because I started this way. I started, first I circle my area. So what I want you guys to understand is first, where do I go back to? Just the biggest volume break that I've had. Go back to the biggest volume break and then start there. Okay, so like if you have something to write down with, go to your biggest volume and start there. And I'm gonna show you what that looks like, guys. I just want you guys to write that down. That way when you guys come across it, you're like, oh, that's what he's talking about. And if you don't know still, just be on the calls. You'll start to pick up what I'm sharing with you as you start looking at these charts, okay? So it's okay if you don't understand right now. What I'm going to do the best that I can with right now is helping you identify through these charts how I mark up my support and resistance. And that's going to be key. I know you guys have heard that before, but I want to start there. Why? Because a lot of the times we're adding our support and resistance in the wrong areas. This is why I'm making this video as well, a recorded podcast, because I want to make sure that, hold on, I got somebody in the chat because I'm going on the chat. No, not at all. So 92,350. And that was for the private message that Audra sent me. No, not at all. I did a call earlier with CJ before this. It was a pretty good call. You got a lot of good information. These calls I'm going to be short on, just because I want you guys to get as much value as possible. 0.92 would be my starting point. 0.925. Okay, so I want you guys to start writing that down. 500. Now, where do you see 500? If you were to just imagine, let me see, I'm going to write this out. That way you guys can see this with me. This number on the side over here. Okay. What I want you guys to do is, let me see if I can write it on here with this. That way you guys can actually understand what I'm talking about. Okay. So one thing I was helping one of my students understand before was, I know this is going to be a little crazy, guys. You guys are like, what is he doing? What is he doing? Oh my God, what is he doing? All right, so I want you guys to look at an area, okay? See how I highlighted this stuff blue right here? And if you can't see it, just replay the video or ask me a question, okay? Because I'm going to help people break this down. So I find this number first, 500. I take away the 0 and I keep it for 50. So that's my 50-point count. That's my halfway mark. Okay, so now I look at another thing. Before I, get all into my zone, what I do usually is I put the support first, and then what I do is I mark up the RSI. And I want you guys to remember this number, okay? So when you guys are typing it up, the RSI, you want to be setting it up to 14 days. It should already be preset to that, okay? And if you guys can't find that, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys right now. That way you guys find that, and you guys have it exactly the way it should be if you want to be a winner. That's why you're on this call. These are the winner calls. So congratulate yourselves for being on that call. Why do we mark this up in this manner? Because we want to see if it's above the 50-50 mark. See, so this pair is getting up there. It's like JPY. It's one of those slower pairs it's taken its time to get up there because of the economy. So you can see that this pair had a big influence in what happened and everything that, like, happened with COVID. This pair took a little toll. It was like JPY. It was one of the slower ones at rebounding. It wasn't like a NZD or a USD JPY, as you guys can see here. It's like in the middle of, like, it was going to split in half. This is what I was telling my friend. And you see it right here. But whatever our president did, it kicked in right in about, like, March 16th, when he, made all these rules for, the next 2 quarters, 3 quarters, however long he did that for. I'm not too concerned with that. What I want to do is more just identify what news is coming out and what coordinates I need to play, because that's most of the time linking up to, when the moves or the pairs are going to move, when they're going to make their move. So what I'm saying with that is you have to plan the news with when the coordinates are going to move. Like, you can't, like, for instance, like, you can't be in a JPY pair knowing that it's an import and export pair when an economy is like this, when it's depending on basically the goods and services of people, and they just like got unlocked. You want to be trading something that has gold right now. Okay, so obviously you can see what pairs don't have gold, which is USD Chief. So you can write that down. What pairs don't have gold? From what I know, from what I've seen, USD Chief is one of the things that moves with the DXY a lot. And if you guys know that the dollar index is actually not backed up by gold. So if you guys didn't know that, the dollar index is actually backed up by credit and debt. That's actually what it's backed up by. So right now there's not a lot of debt in the market because there was nobody going to work. Everybody's out of work right now. So what happens is our market is not as strong. So it's holding. Right now what it's holding for this pair. But if you trade something like NZD, USD, you're going to make more of a profit for the people that are more advanced. However, you can still apply the same strategy of not paying attention so much to the first numbers and more to your pip count. Okay, so how do I know this is my 50% mark? Well, there's 50 here and there's 50 here. Okay, and you have your trade here. Now, if you need more of a confirmation than that, you're making this like too complicating, because literally I only have 1 line, 2 lines, and I have my RSI. So I use my RSI for what? For the volume. It's my relative strength index. It's what I use to determine the volume that, let me check out this chat. I actually do to set the setting, Audra. I always have music on to set the setting. That's why, I do it like that, because I do it like Chris Derrick, because I can, because I'm the one that knows how to trade here. I set the rules. That's why. 98.4, so 98.4. It actually keeps the energy high, but if it was too loud, I turn it down. It's just to set the setting. That way it's not all just empty. Because how many of us have had like that empty space? It's like awkward, and it's like just quiet. There's no music. It feels like awkward. Those are the moments that I try to erase with the music. That's why I have the music there. But that was a great observation. So 0.98450 is my ceiling. Why do I know that? Because right here, this area right here, this is an engulfing area. There's a lot of moving around right here. Let's see. Okay. Right here. Sorry guys. It's the first time using these tools in a while here on this laptop. Different laptop. Okay. So this area right here is how I make my analysis that this is my roof. Okay. I start with the daily. Why? Because that's going to be your better indication on the volume. That's why. It establishes your trend a little bit better. Now, can I start here? Yes, I can. But why did I do here? Because this is the last time it whipped. That's why. I want a more accurate indication, because that's when it actually made its drop. If you guys can see right here. And it's planned right with the EMA lines. So the RSI, going back to the RSI, where would I find my RSI? Right here. It's right here. And if you don't have it, you would just type it in right here. And it would be something like this. And it should be one of the first ones to pop up. It's right here. See that, guys? So if you guys don't have it already, go ahead and go to the indicators and strategies so you guys can pull up your indicators. Like I said, if you guys have any questions, just ask me, okay? But that's how you get the RSI down here, okay? And then you draw the line from right here. So for the first time people, your indicators are right where the F is, okay? And then your tools are to the left side, okay? And then there's actually a little arrow right out underneath the star that you can pull down, and you can actually pull up a little bit more objects, okay? So what you want to have on there, how you want to, like, what tools you want to have. Like, so if you want to take things off, you can do it on there. I don't usually mess around with that one too much. I usually stick around with the line, the Fibonacci, and then the drawing tools. So this is how I get my squares as well. There's like a little side button right on the side that you can hover on there, and you can pull up your rectangle, your brush, your eclipse. I use eclipses for the academy. I'll show you guys as I start doing these calls more, how I marry the academy and the eclipses. That way you guys can see how the lower highs and the higher highs are turning out, because this pair right here is doing exactly what our academy teaches us, which I encourage every single person to continue studying, which is everything FX. This is going to help us understand that this is a sideways market right now. Easy, because you see it on the daily. Most people don't know this, but most countries are trading on the daily. They're not trading on the 4 hour, the hour. They're trading by the day. That's just how the economies are being traded. That's how the governments move their money, from what I've seen. Not speculating. That's just from what I've seen. For the people wondering, what I'm going to go ahead and do right now is draw a trend line. Now that I got my support, okay, and then you got my resistance, and in between that's when you want to go from body all the way to where it's at, okay? This is going to make more sense as you start dropping down the time frames, because remember, guys, I was sharing with you guys that I was going to break down the time frame step by step. That way you guys understand how it is that I take the trade. Because how is it that I'm trading a trade right now, not worried about anything? I'm on a call and I'm live on my NZD pair, and it's up $100, $200 on the two entries. Like, this is really not that hard. So for people that can't do that on a live call, or they can't do that on a call, I don't know why not. Like, you're performing. Your job is for you to have a trade in, to know what you're doing and what you're talking about. Yeah, mind you, sometimes we're not going to get our trades right, but we have to identify why it is that we failed at the trade. Did we get in too early? Did we, mark it up exactly like this? Because now what I'm going to do, guys, is for the people that are coming into this group, I don't know, there's quite a few people watching, but for the people that are already invested into Mindset U, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and send you guys money for every good signal that you guys send me. Like, this is how I'm going to hold you guys accountable. This is how I'm going to hold me accountable. Because what I'm going to do is when you guys send a signal, I'm going to give you 10% of what you invested every single time. So that means if you're 250, if you're 500, if you're 1,000 for the people coming in, later on, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to share 10% for every good signal that you give me. But you have to mark it up the same way. You can't just be like, hey, Isaiah, take a look at UCAD. And I'm like, what am I taking a look at? Like, what am I taking a look at? Like, what am I looking at? Right? Like, did you mark up support and resistance? Do you have a trend line? Did you circle your volume areas? Because those are big keys, because I want us all to win. That's why I'm doing that. Not because I'm trying to, like, be better than or more than. So, okay, let me see. Let me answer some questions here. Awesome. I'm glad you're seeing it. No, I don't use Bollinger Bands. That's, like, for me, that's a lot. Honestly, my friend always just said, just have EMAs, 2 EMAs, RSI. I traded that simple, and it's made more sense to me. I did have, Bollinger Bands. I do have a recipe, actually, that I learned from Eric. Not that you guys know who he is. Maybe you guys do. Eric Garrison. that he gave me a step-by-step like Bollinger Band freaking strategy. It was an 8-figure playbook. I had Bollinger 1, Bollinger 2, Bollinger 3, Bollinger 4, 50 to 2.00. He basically gave us the rundown of how it is that you can set up your Bollinger Bands. I know that Christopher Terry, the first person that I ever met, like that did this stuff, did the Bollinger Bands. I personally don't do that, just simply because it's complicated. It really is. Because who's really going to understand indicators? For me, it's more like you want to be able to nakedly look at your chart. So you want to have as less noise as possible on your chart. I know that when I'm teaching the people that are one-on-one, I have a lot of lines, but I help myself make sense of the lines. Now, like if I'm trying to like come in to trading and understand this concept, I feel like that's going to be too complicating for people just because of the fact of, one, indicators lag. And this is proven. If you guys read Naked Forex, which I can send to you guys, it talks about how indicators lag, and how, you know, you can actually lose a lot of trades if you follow indicators. Because if I was waiting for the RSI to make the move, for instance, CJ was on earlier with NZD USD, which he made $50 yesterday, by the way. Congratulate him. Congratulations, CJ, for making $50 on that trade. All he did, he knows me. He's known me for a while. He's like, oh, shoot, Isaiah sent a signal? Yeah, I bet. I'm going to put it in my phone. And he profited. He took it. So I salute you for taking that, bro, because I found that, you know, the same way. And I realized that, you know, when I made it just simple for my life like that, like just I need to take my trade, I was going to, you know, take my trade. That's when I realized it was really not that hard. It's really not that hard. It's really about these numbers, finding your support and resistance at the right areas on your day chart. It really is. And I appreciate the feedback, Isaiah. I really appreciate it, bro. This is geared for every single person in this group. So I'm glad that you guys are all, you know, actively, you know, messaging as well. That makes me happy because I want to continue that, and I want to continue to grow with you guys as well because we're all growing in this. So going back to the trend line, support and resistance. Now what we can do is we can start bringing the time down. So what I do now is bring it down to the 4 hour, okay? And then this is where I adjust. For the people that don't know, there's zoom, because it took me the longest to figure this out. It took me so long to figure this out that I can zoom out. Like it took me the longest because I felt like I needed to look at everything zoomed in. And I was like, what am I doing? Like, you have to imagine, okay, this is where you have to use your imagination. You have to imagine the day chart that you just saw and picture the volume right here. This is where you start getting creative, guys. This is the volume you saw on the day. These little waves. But as you see, this is more prone to selling. Now that you're looking at the USD Chief. So it's building some type of volume. So you want to wait for your entry. So this is for going to be a lot of people that, you know, are starting to advance with me in this call. You guys are probably wondering where my entry is going to be. My entry is going to be somewhere around here. After this area. So after I see a breakout of this box. This is where you draw the box. For the people that have known how to draw in boxes, and you guys are probably wondering why the heck do people draw boxes. Boxes are more for areas of volume that I'm looking at. So where would I take my trade? My safe entry would be somewhere around 98,450. So if you guys have something to write down with, you guys have been following me through the course of this call, write that down. 98,450 is a good level. So 450, why is 450 a good level? Because it's prior to 500. It's right before 500. That level's right before 500, okay? So what I want you guys to understand from this call is that I marked my resistance. Says I got 10 minutes. I've already been talking for 40 minutes. I'm about to be 40 minutes in 10 minutes. Thank you, Zoom guys, for letting us know that I don't want to keep you guys too long. As much as value as I want to give you guys, I want to give you guys enough so that you guys can practice this, so that you guys can start seeing at least the first steps in your trading. That way, tomorrow when you guys get on a call, we elaborate on this trading. That way we're not sharing too much with you guys. We're not overloading you guys with a whole lot of information. Because what I realized is that as a trader, I was, you know, sharing too much because I was trying to learn a lot and I didn't know exactly how to learn and I didn't know what to learn. And that was my biggest key. So that's why I was like, I'm going to keep this call short. I'm going to answer questions as much as possible. So just keep interacting the way you guys have. And we're going to get from A to Z as quickly as we push ourselves through. Okay. Because I can't push anybody if they don't push themselves, you know. That's one thing I have known, that in this journey, you know, a lot of people get offended because you push them a little harder or because you're a little stern. But I know that you guys are going to be great people. I can feel it in my heart. And I'm excited about all this stuff, guys. I really am. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to outstretch this little channel right here. Or I should say this little box, not channel. I'm sorry. That's what I'm sorry is allowed to say, because you're not being precise. Anytime you don't do something accurately, like, it's okay to say sorry. But if you're just saying sorry because you don't know why you're saying sorry, then one mentor told me, he said, you must not have a very happy life. You must have a lot of problems. They're saying sorry. That's when we want to watch ourselves. You know, we want to watch our mind. We want to watch what we feel, our spirit, through what we listen, through what we watch. Because that can be distorting, you know, that can be distorting and actually finding that CJ was talking. And that's amazing, because for somebody like him to say that, you know, I know that he's young and I know that he has his whole life ahead of him, you know, but for him to think that way at 21, 22 years old, like, that's amazing. I remember meeting him when I was last year, 2 years ago, I think we met. It's been a while now, to say the least. But I remember when I first met him, he was a young, energized, you know, kid that, you know, I saw a lot of potential in, and he's growing into it now. He's really growing into it, and I'm really excited for him and everybody that decides to make the shift, because not just CJ, we can all make this a reality for our lives, you know? Like, you know, me and Isaiah, that's why you got that. And okay. I think, I don't know. Let me know if you guys are still hearing me well. Said something about the internet, so I just want to make sure my connection is clean on the other end. If it's not, just leave it how it is. But if it is having trouble, just message me so I can stop talking. So I'm not just like talking. Okay, let me see the chat box real quick so I can answer some questions. 21 and 2.5 years ago. Yeah, it was CJ. See, you remember, bro. Appreciate you guys for supporting, and I appreciate you guys for staying on the call. I really do. Okay, so what we're gonna go into is the buys. Okay, this pair is gonna buy because it's been holding, you know, for so long. So things can only hold for so long until they have to buy, right? So you see the wave. Well, I see it. You guys might not be able to see it. Let me circle that. Let me trace my steps back. That way I help everybody understand, not just me. Okay, boom, boom, boom. So this pattern in particular right now, the ones that I just marked up, the last two circles, are what tell me that it's building its volume to push up to this area. So now with what I shared with you guys, the area that you want to be trading is up here. So as soon as it climbs in this area, what I like to set is, because this trading view, I love trading view because you can set a little reminder. So you can set yourself a little, let me see, where's it at? I think it's like right here. Let me see. Maybe not. Whatever. Okay, whatever. We'll just set it with probably the line. I triggered it. There it is. So the reminder, add an alert. So at that area, what I'm going to do is add an alert. So it's going to email me. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the option of open-ended, notify on an app. So I'm just going to say show a pop-up and send me an email. Okay. So what it's going to do is as soon as it crosses that area, it's going to send me an email saying, Isaiah, you should probably look at this for a trade. So you can buy it. That's how I have mine set up. Okay. Like that. I have it that simple because sometimes I'm checking my emails. I'm doing emails. I'm replying back to people and I can see that. And I'm like, oh, boom, I'm going to place my trade. Or what I do, and I'm going to, share this with you guys screenshot by screenshot in our group. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the best to have Amanda share a video with us so she can help us how to put Hugo's way together and how to also, place these entries on your phone. That way we can do it screenshot by screenshot. That we're going to do screenshot by screenshot, guys. That way you guys can understand how it looks on your phone. Because this is a computer, this is how you observe your chart when you're on the computer. And if you're next to your phone, you can flip back to your chart and see where your trade is. See, in this particular case, this pair was more used to mark up support resistance and to find the area that you see your volume building up or down. Because just like this can be a buy up here, this can also sell first, come down for a few points to about 95. Why 95? Because of this area right here to shoot back up. So you don't want to jump the trigger as soon as it crosses a line. For the people that are like, well, should I trade as soon as it crosses 450? No, that's the area to watch, right? You would want to take your trade at the top of the box. That's what you would want to do, because any smart individual wants to wait until, or any smart individual waits, I should say, until the trend is established and until he sees a retracement of some sort. And what a retracement looks like, just so you guys know, that way you guys can see a retracement, and you guys can write that down. What does a retracement look like? This is a good example of a retracement. Right here. Boom. Boom. So these areas are going to show you that the pair's still continuing to go up. Why is this important? Because sometimes we don't know how to look at our chart. Sometimes we don't really know how to study it because we're like, well, how do I know this is buying? Well, if you start seeing this in USD NZD, it's going to be a buy. It's the same thing, right? Like if we were to flip back to NZD and do that, we would be able to see that. And even here, look, boom, retracement, goes up. And then this is when it had its complications, obviously, because of the coronavirus, April 7th, 2020. That's why it started coming down. So if you guys are studying, what's been happening, and if you guys are observing what's happening, it had to come down. You see, it had to come down in this area, but at the same time, it didn't stay down there because the EMA line right here, which I want to, end with, is the EMAs. Okay, I want to share with you guys what levels I use them at, what these two EMAs are. So the first one right here is going to be marked at 800. Okay, you don't offset nothing. Literally, I just want you to write EMA 800. 800 means the length of it, right? That meaning 800 days. So that's your 800-day exponential moving average. That's what EMA stands for. If you didn't know what the EMA stands for, EMA is exponential moving average. You want to set one at 800, and you want to set one at, I believe this one is at 14 days. If it's not a 14 days, it's a 50-day one. It's a 200-day one. Okay. So what I want to help you guys understand is either 200 or 14-day. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead with the 14-day because that's 2 weeks. So I'm gonna have 2 weeks and 800 days. Okay. 800 days is more gonna serve as a magnet. As you guys can see, if it's anywhere around that 800 EMA, it either goes down to come back up to go over. This wants to go over, guys, which is why it's preparing the way it's preparing. It's a little